Hello friends, welcome. Friends, today we are going to talk about a very interesting topic which is balance of payment. Now friends, balance of payment is extremely important from the point of view of a country's credit worthiness as regards to its world economic transaction that it has to do on a daily basis to meet its requirements, domestic requirements. Now, balance of payment, if it is not managed properly, it can lead to huge financial crisis, which we have seen in case of our neighboring countries like Pakistan and Sri Lanka. And therefore, the balance of payment situation has to be closely watched to see that how our credit worthiness as regards a country in the face of the world economy is currently positioned, and how the world sees us from the point of view of investment and other economic consideration. So why I am doing this video today is because the RBI recently came out with a report on December 26th, and it summarized the India's balance of position situation as regards quarter 2 2023-24. Now this report is in this format, and people who are following this space probably know about it, and they will be able to make what is going on, and for them it is going to be very easy to understand the current economic situation as per and the RBI reports as regards to the BOP condition of India. Now friends, why I want to bring before you this topic is because this, from a layman perspective, this report might be quite confusing, because there are so many parameters and numbers which are mentioned here, which you cannot make any head and tail, because there is no way to relate it to past data. So what I have done is that through this video I am going to take you through the complete picture of BOP, as not only it is regards to this report, but also as regards to what happened in past, so that you can appreciate what India's position is and what are the factors which are contributing to India's balance of payment situation, what has been in past and what is going to happen in the future, right? So let's start. Now, as I always do, before I take you through the conclusion and the analysis, I would like to basically take you through where the data is available. Now, the BOP data is published by RBI in this particular format. Let me tell you that there is a time series data which is in this particular format. Now, where is this data available? This data is available here. Let me show you where the data is available. Now, if you go to the RBI's website, you will find that if you go under the external home statistic, external sector, international trade, then you will find the balance of payment both in US dollar as well as in Indian rupees. So you can download this file, and this file will look something like this, which is in front of you. Now friends, if you look at this particular file, you will find that it is extremely difficult to decipher and understand what is going on, right? There are so many columns and there is so many rows here, and you will not be able to relate to anything. It is mind-bogglingly difficult to understand this file in this manner, unless somebody gives you a summary what is going on. And not only that, this time series data, if you look at this time series data, it is not current. Why? If you see, this is actually updated up to FY24 and quarter Q4. So the current data, which as RBI has published recently in his report, this is the report here. If you see here, this report, the current data is in here, in these two files. So what I am going to do, I am going to show you how the data looks. Now the data looks something like this. This is the report. See? So this particular file is horizontal in nature, and this file is vertical in nature. And in order to do a time series analysis, you have to aggregate this file on this file. Now the challenge is that the description that they have used in this file is totally different from the description that they have used in this file. Look at this. These descriptions are different, though they are same, but they are differently worded compared to the description that are being used here. So that is one challenge number one. The second is the file is vertical in nature. So what we have to do is we have to convert this file in a manner that this file can be utilized and we can make any sense out of it, because we need to create a combined file by adding this file plus this file into one single one, right? So I'll show you how I have done it, and you can also do it, because I can't, it is very difficult to understand somebody's else explanation of a data unless you have a hands-on capability to process the data yourself. So I'm going to give you some tips as to how you can do it, right? So I just close this file and I'll show you what I have done and how I have processed this file, so that you get a sense of what is going on, what can be done and how it can be processed. So what I have done is, friends, I'm going to just open this file. So this is the file. Look at this file. This was the original file. So I have marked some of the original file in color yellow, which I am going to remove, right, for processing. So I have these yellow. This is the file which I showed you, and these are the rows and columns which are marked yellow for my own understanding and for future remembrance. I have to remove this and then convert this data in this manner. So I'm going to mark each and every row with the column number which are present here. Look, there is a column number here, and these column numbers can be marked with each and every row here. Look at this. So I have marked each and every row with the corresponding column number, right? And then finally I pasted this file, right, in this sheet. And then what I'm doing is I am using this particular program which I have written here. I'm going to show you how it basically works. So this is the program. What it does is it reads the horizontal file here, right? So I'm going to run and show it to you. This reads the horizontal file here, right? So it is reading here, and I'm going to show you how it looks. And then it says df final h. So this is the file, right? It has read the horizontal file, and then it will read the vertical file, right, in the form which I've described. And this is how it will look. Right? And after reading the vertical file, it will combine these two files, right? And then it will process the date column, and then it is finally going to store the file in the disk. And through the disk, what I've done is that I have used a Tableau dashboard, and I am reading this file in the Tableau dashboard, right? This is in front of you. Now friends, why there are two sheets here? If you look at this, there are two different dashboards here which I am using. One dashboard is the BOP data, which I'm going to explain to you. Just give me a minute. Other is the foreign exchange reserve situation as far as India is concerned. Now, friends, interestingly, the BOP data can be read to see how the foreign exchange performance is. Our foreign exchange reserve changes over a period of time, which you will find, and I'm going to tell you how you can extract the foreign exchange reserve situation from the BOP data itself directly. Now, before I get into that, let me explain to you tab by tab what basically this data talks about. Now, the first row, if you look at this dashboard, similar, if you have watched my earlier videos, you'll find my dashboard is similarly structured. I have got a flexible drop-down window where I can basically choose quarter, because this is a quarterly data, and then I can make it a yearly data. And then I can basically choose how many time units that I want to display, and then I can basically also move left-hand side of this dashboard to look at past, what happened in past. The first line item is the overall balance of payment situation. Now, if you do a quarterly time scale, you will find that this number that is being shown, it is in $1 million. You will find that the current number, which is the RBI data, it says FY 24 Q2, the India's overall balance of payment is positive, which is $2.5 billion. In the earlier quarter, it was positive by $24.4 billion, right? And then like that, these numbers. And then FY 23 Q2, it was a negative by $30.79 billion. So this is the overall balance of payment. Now how does it make up? This makes up, because this coding that you see, this is color coding. I have done it with the purpose to read this table easily, and I will tell you how this color code reads. So this is a description. Description has got a different color code, and then the heat map has got a different color code. Now the heat map color code is very simple. If it is negative, it gets red. If it is positive, it gets basically green. And whatever is white, it is somewhere in between, right? And these color code talks about the different kind of categorization. For example, overall balance of payment, 1 plus 2 plus 3. 1 means what? I'm going to show you where is 1. 1 is the current account. So the balance of payment is nothing but the addition of current account. And then if you go to the next sheet, which gives you capital account, and then we have the third is what? Third is third is error and omission and monetary. So all these four things, if you add, which will give you the balance of payment. So if you add let me just go over again. First is the current account. You have to add current account. One current account, I will explain what does current account means. Then you have capital account, right? And then in the third sheet, we have got errors and omission. Errors and omission anyway, is a line item to just basically to make up the numbers if there are some errors or not. And then the monetary movement, because this table has to add up to 0, right? So whatever is positive or negative which has been left out has to be contributed through this number, which is the negative of the increase of foreign exchange. Let me explain again. So if this monetary movement number is negative, means foreign exchange has increased. If it is positive, means foreign exchange has decreased. So how does it explain this? Let me explain again. So if you look at this FY22 Q1 number, you will find that FY22 Q1 number, there was a positive balance of payment of 31,870. Now if you come here and look at the monetary movement, the foreign exchange reserve, because there has been some errors and omission, has increased by, because this number is negative, because you have to add it up and make it 0. Therefore, the foreign exchange reserve has increased by $31 billion. Now let's look at the foreign exchange reserve with a quarterly. This is weekly. Let me make it quarterly. And look at the same time period, FY22 Q1. So FY22 Q1, you will find that the foreign exchange reserve actually has increased from FY21 Q4. See? And you will find that there is an increase by similar amount, right? So this is how you can relate to foreign exchange data and the balance of payment data. So it is important, now you have understood that it is important that our balance of payments numbers, that is the overall balance of payment number, stays positive. Because if the balance of payment number stays positive, then your foreign exchange reserve is going to increase, right? And you can read that through this table by going through the monetary movement tab, and where you can basically see 3 line items. One is IMF, another is reserve increase and decrease, another is SDR allocation. Okay. Now let's go one by one how the balance of payment makes up, how the balance of payment table can be read, so that you can understand each and every line item what contributes to the overall BOP situation as far as India is concerned. Now, what is current account? Current account is nothing but the addition of the balance of payment on account of goods and services. So one is merchandise, which is goods. Another is invisibles, which actually has services. Plus, there are transfer and income. And I'll explain what transfer and income is. So invisible contributes to services plus transfer plus income. Now, services is nothing but our export of services, the total export of services. Now, if you look at services, you will find that service export as far as India is concerned has always been positive, and India has lagging behind as far as the balance is concerned from the point of view of goods trade. Now, if you look at FY23 Q1, where let's look at this FY24 Q4, you will find that the overall balance of payment is negative by $16 billion. Similarly, in FY23 Q2, the overall balance of payment is negative by $30 billion. Why? Look at this. Merchandise, these goods and the negative trade balance as far as the goods trade is concerned, which is $78 billion as far as Q2 FY23. So, even though we actually had a positive increase of $47.4 billion on account of invisibles, still there was a gap on current account of $30 billion. So that shows up in the overall balance on payment situation. That is why the foreign exchange should decrease by the account. Let's look at Q3, Q2, FY23 Q3. See, from FY23 Q1, $595.4 billion, it has shot down. It has gone down to $544 billion because of this negative number. Now probably you will be able to understand why it is important to maintain the balance of trade. Now, if the balance of trade is not maintained, our exports are not sufficiently high, we will have a severe problem as far as our overall balance of payment situation is concerned, right? So the current account makes up what? It basically makes up the goods item, line item, and the services Then we have transfers. Transfers are what? Transfers are basically official as well as private. So anybody who is making some transfer of dollars from outside India to somebody within the country, those are considered as transfers. It could be any reason. Somebody must be sending money from outside to his relative or paying for some services, etc. Not goods and services, but something else, right? Which do not fall under these categories are categorized under the category of transfer. And then we have one line item which is income. Now here you find that the income is pulling down our invisible number. Otherwise the invisible numbers on services. So let's look at this number, right? If you see, it is $39.07 billion as far as services are concerned, which considers travel, transportation, insurance, miscellaneous services, etc. Then we have transfers. If you add this, but you have to subtract the income. Now income is what? Foreign companies and the foreign governments are making some investments in our country. Now those investments are giving them some return. So those returns are pulled out of this country. So these are called income, right? It could be from the point of view of India making income outside, or it can be from somebody making investment within our country. So they are pulling back those investments, the profit they are pulling back, those are income. That's why this is being shown as negative. So foreign investment is good, but it also results in profits flowing out of the country. So that also pulls down our BOP. We need to understand that. Then there is one item which is positive, which is basically the foreign companies playing to their employees. Right? Look at this, $78 million in FY23 Q4. So this contributes to the income. So if you add this together, whatever the net value is, so $13.8 billion plus minus $13.8 billion plus $778 billion will come out to be $12.6 billion negative. So that will get subtracted. Now let's go to the capital account. So this is the current account. Now, as far as capital account is concerned, we have got what? We have got 4 items. One is foreign investment, right? So that is item number 1, 2.1. Then you go to the next sheet. We have got loans. Then we have got banking capital. Then we have a rupee debt service. And then we have other capital. So these are the 4 items which has been colored here, right? So let's look at one by one. So foreign investment consists of what? Foreign direct investment and portfolio investment. Now, what is foreign direct investment? Anybody making investment other than the stock market, indirectly in companies, right, is categorized under foreign direct investment. Now, portfolio investment is making investment in the stock market, right? So that is why there are 2 different line items which are shown here. Now, foreign direct investments are also of 2 types. One is being made in India by foreign companies, which is in India. Another is Indian making foreign investment outside the country. That is why the net foreign direct investment number will be the subtraction of these 2 numbers. That is why it is being shown here negative. So if you add these 2 together, then you will get the net foreign investment. So if you look at the foreign investment, you will find that quarter by quarter, look at these numbers, typically these have been positive, right? But there have been some quarters, right, in FY22, 23, FY22, Q4, FY22 and Q1, FY23, these have been negative, right? So our BOP situation is positively impacted if the foreign investment that is flowing in our country is positive. If it is negative, then it will get negatively impacted. Similarly, the portfolio investment, you will find that in some quarters it has been heavily negative. So I am going to give you a yearly view. You will be able to appreciate what is going on from a yearly point of view. That will give you a better picture. Now, portfolio investment also made in India and made by Indians outside. So it actually adds up, and that is why the net portfolio investment numbers are shown here. Now you will find that the portfolio investment numbers are actually at par with the FDI numbers. It's a significant portion of the total foreign investment that is being made in the country. Now, if you look at this, actually it is sometimes more. You know, you look at this FY24 Q1, it is $5 billion of foreign direct investment. Portfolio investment is $15 billion. Imagine, right? Similarly, in the last quarter, the foreign direct investment has been negative $287 million, but whereas the portfolio investment has been $4.9 billion, right? Now let's look at this from a yearly point of view. Let's understand how this situation has changed over a yearly point of view. Now, if you look at foreign investment, which is the foreign direct investment on a yearly basis, right, has been steady, right? It has been on an increase, right? Look at this $19 billion. And then we have got $21 billion in FY14, then it is $36 billion, then $35 billion, then $30 billion. So, on a sense, you get that, the foreign direct investment numbers actually have been on an increase, or it has been steady. It has gone down in FY23 by $27.9 billion, whereas portfolio investment numbers have been fluctuating. Look at this. It was $26.8 billion in FY13, then it went down to $4.8 billion, then $42 billion went very, very high, and then it kind of went down, and then it again went high, and then in FY21 it went up, and then for the last two financial year, FY22 and FY23, the portfolio investment numbers went down. And now this particular financial year, for the last 2 quarters, because this 2-quarter data is available, it's $20 billion. So looks like there is a huge amount of portfolio investment which is taking place in this market. It can reach the numbers which we saw in FY15. So that kind of indicates one important point, that the stock market might do pretty well, because the foreign investors are showing a lot of confidence in India as far as portfolio investment is concerned. Look at FIIs, the foreign institution investors have made $21.357 billion of investment in India, right, in the last 2 quarters in FY24, right? So this is as regard to capital account, right? So the 2 important items, foreign investment and foreign portfolio investment. Now let's go to the third sheet. Now there could be some loans which India is getting from other countries. Those will categorize as one of the items for balance of payment. It can consist of 3 different parts: external assistance by India to India, commercial borrowings by India to India, short-term loans to India, which can be supplier credit greater than 180 days and less than 180 days. Similarly, banking capital, and there could be others, rupee debt service, other capitals. So friend, this in short is basically the balance of payment. Probably you understood that why it is so important to understand this table, and it is important to present it in this manner so that it makes some sense. The overall picture makes some sense. Now let's go to, as a recap, let's go to the final, the initial table. Now if you look at the initial table, and on a yearly basis, you will find that how trade has impacted our BOP situation. The imbalance in goods trade has impacted our situation, the BOP situation, as far as India is concerned. Look at FY23. We had a negative trade balance of $265 billion, pulling down our overall BOP by $1 billion. So even though we had a very good year of $198 billion of invisibles, still the BOP numbers actually have gone down because of a current account deficit of $67 billion. This year, 2 quarters, we have a current account deficit of $17 billion, which is better, maybe because we have just done 2 quarters. So assume that in the next 2 quarters, the numbers remain same. So definitely the situation has improved a little bit. That's why you saw in the newspapers, mentioned that the CAT situation has improved. Now looking at this trend gives you a better picture rather than looking at the static data. And then by comparing this with the foreign exchange reserve table, which RBI publishes on a weekly basis, you can make out now how the overall economy is performing, and where we are doing good, and where we have to make a lot of improvements. So I thought that presenting this data in this manner will make a lot of sense rather than looking at the static data, and in a manner which probably very difficult for anybody to make anything out of it, especially those who do not deal with this subject on a day-to-day basis. So I thought it will be useful for everybody to have a good picture, because it kind of what I did was I put it in this format because it is much more easy to read and understand rather than going through that elaborate table. which is very difficult to understand because both the tables are not joined together. We have to look at those tables in isolation. Okay, so I friend, probably you have found this analysis useful, and you will let me know that if you have any questions, and I will going to send you the links of some of this document in the description, and you can provide your comments and let me know if you have any questions, and we'll come back to you next time with the next topic of discussion. Thank you very much for your watching and patient listening. Thanks a lot.